Hey guys, this is a 6-minute guide on how to farm thornlings in DM East. You'll yield about 5 thornlings per run. So if you do the math, that's about 25 thornlings in a 30-minute period. Now, where am I right now? I am obviously in an entrance to DM East, but which entrance? I am in the secret entrance to the northeast of Camp Mojachi. How do you get there? There is a temple towards the northeast. In the mini map, it looks like this, and you need the crescent key. If you don't have the key, it's dropped by this mob in DM East, so you need to go the normal way into DM East to kill this mob. But you can also have one of your guildmates open the door for you if you need. I think that's an easier option, to be honest. Now, I'm gonna start, and when you enter, it's going to be a long hallway up. One thing to remember is the pods that you gather to get the seeds always spawn in a predictable location. They always are in the same places. Now here, there's going to be a pod here, there's going to be a pod around here, and there's going to be a pod around here. And you see what I'm doing. I am clicking a pod, and once I click a pod, I don't stop. I keep moving. You can see this is the third pod right here. Why do I keep moving? Because of the ads. Ads will spawn, and you might not necessarily aggro the ads if you keep on moving. If you stay still, you will aggro the ads. But as you see, I click and I move. Now I go up this ramp right here, and there's always a seed up top. As I said, the pod locations are predictable. Now here, there are 2 pods. Here is one, you can see it clearly, but here's one that you can't really see. And if you watch clearly, you see I click and I move. I don't stay still after I click because, again, as I said, you can have ads, and if you keep moving, the ads won't aggro you. Now I get my first seed here, and I'm done with the first room. Now there's a ramp up to the second room. This is going to be a 2-room run, so it's going to be a really quick run. Now up here there is a satyr that patrols. He goes invisible, so that's why I try to hug one of the walls. Sometimes I can avoid the satyr. And up here is always a pod that spawns. Now if you look on the mini map, this is going to be the second room I enter. And over here I make a mistake. I accidentally aggro the satyr. No big deal. It's one mob. It doesn't have a lot of HP, and it doesn't do a lot of damage. So it adds about 30 seconds to your run if you're a healer. Over here, it took about 10 seconds for me to kill. Now over here, where my cursor is, there is a pod. There's always going to be a pod here. As you can see, click and run. Now, sorry, let me keep on moving. You can see my cursor in game is pointing here. Why? Because I'm looking for a pod. Now, in the second room, there's going to be a couple of pod locations that don't always spawn. They move around. The pods move around there's 2 pods within 4 locations that move around. So there's a chance that you can have a pod here. And I think I have a picture from another run, and you can see the pod with the 2 huts. These pods that move around, they have a high probability of getting a seed. So you always want to check for them, and you always want to try to get them. Now this one is always there, and I got my 3rd seed. Now I'm moving up. There's going to be a seed here. This one always spawns, But if I look to my right, I see there's a pod, and this pod right here, it is a, let me just move the angle a bit. This pod right here is, it is another high probability pod. If it spawns, you always want to try to get it. Now, sometimes there is a mob that patrols around here. Again, you have a lot of room to work with. So what I usually do if I see a patrol here is I just stand right between these two dimples and I click the pod. There's enough range and there's enough room to work with that you won't aggro the mobs. But in this case, there's no pat, so I am clear. This is my 4th seed. Here, there's a pod. This one always spawns, as I said. Again, at spawn, you always want to be moving. Now here, there is another pod here. This is another one of the pods that have a variable location. It's a high probability pod, so I want to get to it. And this is my 5th seed. Now there is another spawn location up front, and we're getting towards the end of the run. Now, over here, if you see my cursor, not the in-game one, but the Windows one, there is a pod location that can spawn here, as you can see. So you always want to check this one. Again, a variable location spawn, high probability of a seed. But that doesn't spawn for me in this run. I will check this pod. It gives nothing, and I'm done. End of the run is about 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So the last minute and a half is just running back to the entrance, resetting. Now, I get 5 seeds in this run, and I've done this about 7 or 8 times, and I always get around 5 seeds. Sometimes 4, sometimes 6, but most of the time 5. So you can see that it is a very, very efficient run. You can get about 25 of the seeds in a 30-minute session. If you can see right there, sorry, let me just rewind. If you can see, I've collected quite a couple of seeds. So it's a very efficient run. You can get in there, do the run for 30 minutes and get about 25 seeds. That's enough to get you through Vashj progression. So hopefully this helps you. If you don't have seeds, you should always have seeds for Vashj progression, and it's not as scary as it seems. I know a lot of people, they don't want to do these runs because maybe they're a healer, or maybe they don't do a lot of DPS, or maybe they aren't good at solo runs. This isn't a really hard run. Spend 30 minutes of your time and you have enough seeds to last you through the entire Vashj progression. So it's really helpful. Now, here is the end of the run. It's going to be about 5 minutes and 10 seconds. And that's it. 5 minutes, 8 seconds. So hopefully this was helpful. And hopefully you guys learned a bit about how to do these runs, and good luck with your Vashj progression.